Hello and welcome. You're watching this special Budget 2026 segment on NewsX called My Budget Wishlist. And joining us today is Rina Dhaka, a renowned Indian fashion designer. Rina, I want to begin by asking you now, what are your top expectations from the Union Budget for India's fashion and design ecosystem?
Indian fashion and the design ecosystem are greatly needing the support of a supportive budget. I know the government has worked very hard towards giving incentives towards both women-led enterprises as well as the textile and weaving industry. But the eco-led system really means that if designers and the fashion industry is supporting an absolutely organic, made in India product from the soil stage itself, for it to be granted, if doable, a tax-free status. As of now, the GST on it is 18% for made-up garments, which makes, because the eco fabrics are a little more costly in terms of time and effort and the outcome to produce, the customer then is not encouraged to buy the final product. Because as is with the slow fashion, the cost is of manufacturing the fabric itself is higher. Then finally, when it's a made up, it becomes costlier than a similar product. So it's a valid request. For this to gain momentum, we would be happy to receive a tax benefit.
Rina, now what budgetary measures are needed to boost India's textile and fashion exports?
In the early years, we had a lot of incentives from the government in terms of export of Indian garments, made-ups. But I think over time, they were not so significant. And now in a tariff-driven era where exports are already succumbing to a very difficult corner, where people are wondering with those margins, it is even worth it to go into this trade and try to take the risk of manufacturing at such tight margins. Garment industry is a great employer and many millions of people benefit from it, run their homes and their livelihood. So these incentives, if they are well thought out, our export industry needs to be revived. We still have an advantage in the manufacturing sector because of having a large database of manufacturers and workforce. But however, tariffs have given a further blow to this industry and people are scared of plunging into this direction due to the overwhelming danger and risks involving their future in terms of getting paid for it or making any margins out of it in the final outcome. So a tax incentive, a support from the government will really help push this sector and set the motion has to be reset. The whole fashion, especially the export manufacturing sector, needs a reset.
Now, as a woman entrepreneur, what specific policy support would you like to see for women's led businesses in fashion?
Women have done wonders in fashion, especially in the past 10 or 15 years of me also being around, both in terms of being a workforce, because now we have tailors also in the rankings, who are sitting with the male tailors. As North India, it is not so much. I see them now in assembly lines also. So yes, for the training has worked over the years, wherein more and more workforce is getting trained, more design students are getting trained. But I think there is now a requirement for, the placement agencies to join the dots, wherein more and more female workers, whether it is last mile connectivity in terms of traffic, in their conveyance, because that can be a big deterrent in getting them to work and on holidays, etc. So if that can be provided in South India, the garment trade runs with creches because there's a large workforce of female workers. So they get support for their children who they cannot leave behind at home. That really helps them. So if such incentives can be given to women in terms of space, common spaces for them to manufacture where they can utilize these kind of funds, free training both in AI, basics of education, of garment construction, and an encouragement for them to move. Whether it's, I know the train, and I don't know really the actuals today for conveyance for women. If they have that, with cheaper conveyance or some kind of discount cards can be offered to them.
Rina, now do you believe that the textile sector needs a separate policy focus in the budget to revive MSMEs and handloom clusters?
MSME, the government is doing a lot. There is a lot of communication which comes from them. They are spending for the last few years. It's a very robust push this sector has been getting. What I feel where there is, having seen the push, I feel is even though marketplaces have been set up by government, online portals, the access to them is still very complicated. If that processes can be simplified, that anybody can achieve them. And then to bring in a kind of a more friendly ethos to achieving them, that would really help.
Now, in your view, what one bold budget reform could transform India's textile and fashion industry?
Wow. I feel we ourselves can be the greatest textile hubs of the world. And we have a very vast product history. We have history of textiles, and we have many ranges from handloom, powerloom to mills, mill-made sector. So, and then there is the made-up industry, which could be your exports. I feel the old players in this trade can be very useful in helping the government connect the dots. If they can be involved in a think tank, that think tank wherein implementation is a possibility, it's not too much of paper pushing, because the timeline in garments is very high. You know, it's a speed we require. Fashion is fast paced. It is all about delivery. And even if you, like in an export shipment, if you're late even by one day, irrespective of your conditions, whether it's festivals, bar, earthquakes, which are realities of this trade, it doesn't matter to the international team. You will lose 2% to 5% a day. Some buyers even offer 10% discount a day. What is left for the exporter? He is barely going to make his ends meet. So the same way, if the old think tanks in every discipline can be involved in helping to reset the already inclusive, very heavy timetable, and the joining of dots happens, wherein this product will work great in this marketplace. This product is not placed right. Let's reshuffle it. This is the tax incentive required for this product to get a boost. This product is doing very well, so we can add more tax to it. You get it? So it's very vast and needs the right people to advise and the right people to implement it, and then the right speed to action it. Only then can we see a change in this.
Thank you, Rina, for your time on NewsX today.